functional, we see it in our lives today, some 1900 years later. We see this design being used all around the world, even right here in WA. The Perth Optus Stadium. When it comes down to it, it really just is a modern coliseum. The simplicity of its engineering and versatility of its design is so effective in delivering a useful space. This is a yarning circle and has been used by Indigenous Australians for generations to make decisions and maintain oral traditions. The EWB Challenge, in partnership with the Dawul Rural Aboriginal Corporation, have asked us to create a yarning space for the Indigenous people of the Yirnganji community. They are in need of a space that is open and can host small to large gatherings, but also can be closed off and private when required. This is our solution. It's a simple 12 by 5 amphitheatre that mimics the circularity of a yarning circle. When making our design, we had to consider our stakeholders, each with a different level of power and interest over the project. Their criteria and constraints have been considered when making each design choice.
Our model consists of a canvas material, telescopic rods, foundation pillars, a recycled concrete base, and it's all surrounded by native plants. The telescopic material has a mechanism like this. And when considering our stakeholders, the Yirnganji community, who use fires for cultural purposes, our model is flexible enough to accommodate to their needs, where we have a retractable roof that provides proper ventilation for things like fires. Now, this is what the closed space would look like. If you like a semi-enclosed space, simply retract the rods halfway with the canvas material. If you like shade on the side, simply tie the canvas material on the foundation pillars. But that's not all. Our model has telescopic rods that can actually retract into the foundation pillars. Now that's compactability. Less infrastructure seen means more nature and a deeper connection to land. No more of that over-westernization. Now, let's talk about safety. We don't want someone climbing on a ladder and retracting and extending these retractable rods. That's just too dangerous. That's why we've included a crank system that works similar to the way cranes do. Each cord is wrapped around each sliding segment, and as you turn the crank, the cord shortens, and then the sliding segments are pushed out of their socket. Even more safety has been incorporated into our design, where we have a lock-in mechanism between the telescopic rods and the foundation pillars. This is particularly because Cairns, Queensland is prone to harsh weather conditions that include strong winds. Cairns is also prone to heavy rainfall. That's why we've included tiered steps. This step has a slant which provides proper drainage of water and reduces water that builds up as puddles in the centre. Furthermore, there are holes on the outside of our structure which enable water to be expelled onto surrounding plants. These plants include banksias and lily-pillies for a number of reasons. Number one, they're native to Cairns, Queensland, and therefore should thrive in these weather conditions. Number two, they're deep-rooted and therefore should soak up surface-level water and reduce those puddles that are safety risk on slips and trips. Number three, they provide natural soundproofing and privacy, which is a design requirement. And last but not least, they're a natural element and therefore promote a deeper connection to country. Now let's talk about costs. Our cost is $175,000 and the structure should last over its 25-year land lease, given that maintenance checks are in place. These include inspection for corrosion, lubrication of these telescopic rods, and cleaning. Now, 83% of our concept budget consists of concrete. Why is that? This concrete is incorporated the labour fees associated with complex framework costs incorporated, making that unique slanted step. Yeah. And this concrete is recycled and therefore reduces the environmental impact of our structure. Now, all of our materials are locally sourced from sources in Australia, where purchasing steel foundation pillars actually costs 30% more in Australia rather than purchasing them overseas in China. But Holistic Solutions are willing to make this accommodation in order to appeal to our stakeholders, the Birribee Indigenous Construction Company, who are invested in locally sourced materials. Now, just go back. We have canvas material which is prone to deterioration, but because our design has 6 segments, if there are damages or repairs that are required, it only needs to be done so in these specific areas rather than the entirety, saving costs there. Back to you, Zali.
Yeah, so we've created a space, not a building, not something that has been overcomplicated and over-westernized to the point where its functionality and versatility of its design has been lost. Our cultural sustainability for the project is very sustainable because of its adaptability. It can be used for many cultural activities, such as making art, meeting with community members, and perhaps even educational purposes. Our stakeholder, the Wet Tropic Management Authority, have an interest in the conservation and preservation of the local environment and would be interested in our environmental impact. Due to the structure not using electrical energy and being made from recycled concrete, the structure is environmentally sustainable and thus aligns with their criteria. Upgradability of our design. Due to its simplicity, the space can be used for many things, and one of them could be as an art centre for the community members to create art and put the art on the structure as well. This would appeal with our stakeholders interested in Indigenous art, such as Henrietta Formal Marie AM and the Cairns Regional Council, with the councillor being on the Cairns Indigenous Art Fair. The expansion of the project can also be in collaboration with other EWB challenges, such as the Bush Tucker Nursery, and can be a place for growing established bush tucker plants around the structure, and also a space where they can have education on bush tucker. The sturdy design can also be implemented in other communities around Australia who may be in need of a yarning space. So when you think simple and versatile, think holistic solutions for your yarning space.